So again, the assignment is going to be that you pick a letter and a memo out of all those lists of cases that you can pick. And again, the letter for the outside of the organization, the memo for the inside of the organization, and then you are going to write it together. And when you pick a letter, make sure you, again, format it like a letter. And what I mean by that is, if you remember, I gave a lot of instruction in this class about how to format a letter, in the sense I gave you a homework assignment where you had to identify the parts of the letter and all that. And the whole purpose of that is that you know how a letter should be formatted. And again, just to remind you, I mean, I guess I could show you that, but yeah, let me do that. So you guys are all still on my screen, right? So let me just do that again, just for fun, since we don't have a huge agenda here. So we're gonna go to the movies. Okay, hold on. So I have writings right here, business writing. So these are some of the, I think some of these were included in there, but so here's a letter format for a company that has letterhead. Can you guys see that on my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
So you remember, on a letter format, if you have a letterhead, then your return address is included in your letterhead, right? And then you have a date line, and then you have your what's called your inside address, right? And then you have your salutation, and then you have your letter. And remember, your margin should be no more than 1 inch from the bottom, typically 2 inches from the top. 2 inches from the top typically brings you to the bottom of your letterhead in this case. And then you have your signature area down here. Your signature, and should always include a typed out name as well as the title of the person. And in this case, there's an enclosure, which means there's other documents. So that would be included if there was no other documents. You don't have an enclosure on there. And then, of course, you have the initials. PA is the initials of the typist, or the person who actually drafted the letter. Even though it's from Steve Zimmerly, PA is the one that actually typed this out. And that's to let the recipient know that it was typed by somebody else or drafted by somebody else. So that's a letter using letterhead. And then if you don't have letterhead, that's the other one. Is I think, is this it? No, that's not it. I have a better one somewhere. Sorry, was it in that one? I thought I had a better one. Actually, this might work. Yeah, I'll use this one. This is actually a cover letter, but it still works as far as formatting a letter. So in this case, because you do not have a letterhead at the top, then you have to include, or should include, the return address of the sender. So typically that would be 2 inches from the top, and then you would move from there. Then you have your date line. I've seen the date line tucked up against the return address, or sometimes another space down. I accept either. So you have your your return address or sender's address, date, and then you have the inside address, just like you did on the other letter. You have your salutation, you have your margins, you have everything exactly the same. In this case, they didn't include their title, so that's because they're sending this. This is a cover letter, so they don't have a title. But they do have enclosure because they included their resume in this particular case. So anyway, so just make sure that you format a letter like a letter. A letter should always be centered in the page vertically. So if it's short, then make sure you have space. You can utilize all the space between your top margin and your salutation really to either move your document down to the middle or bring it up. So you have a lot of flexibility in this area as far as your spacing goes. But that's how letter should be formatted. So make sure you go back to the assignments if you don't remember, but that's what I'm looking for. And then the other thing is a memo, and I think I showed you this one before. So a memo is a little different. Again, memos for internal audiences. So I'm going to open the memo. It's not letting me open it. All right, so here you go. And there's one thing missing on this memo. I'm going to type it in there. The word memorandum should be in there. And in this case, they centered it in the page, kind of centered it in the page, but the same thing with the memo as they do letter, it should be centered in the page. Typically memos are printed out, they're put on bulletin boards, things like that, so people can read them. But a memo looks like this. It looks like an email kind of, except The only difference between an email title block and a memo is always double spaced. So notice there's a space, there's a line, then a space, then a line, then a space. An email would look like that, right? An email would look like that, but a memo is always double spaced. Now it's a matter of preference. I don't know if that there's a golden rule on either one, but most memos are double spaced and they look better that way. Again, your margins should be 1 inch, and again 2 inches from the top to the word memorandum, and then you have a lot of room to flexibility to utilize space before and after. Again, then you have your message in the middle, and then the memo, by the way, does not include a signature block. There is no signature block because all that information is found in the title block. So all you do on a memo is you put the initials of the author or typist. So in this case, WOC, I guess it is. I don't know who that is, but they're the ones who type this up. And so that's a memo. And again, it really is all about the title block, and it's all about the signature block in the margins and how you format it. So this is some of the guidelines that are for that. And I'm just showing you this to refresh your memory, because hopefully you've already remember all this, or you can go back in your homeworks and see how it was formatted. The only other thing left that I want to bring up is, and I'm going to stress this highly, is to make sure that you use a lot of the design elements that business writing uses. And I've showed you this before. I'm gonna show it to you again. You guys remember this assignment because I think you guys did it. But I'm gonna just use this as a sample of the memo. If you remember, this is the one thing that makes business writing unique and something that you really need to take advantage of, because when you're trying to get your message across to busy business people, you want things to really pop and really stand out and really visually be appealing so that they're not intimidated by a big long, a thing of text like before. I think I showed you this memo, and okay, great, it's a memo, but it's all one block of text, and I have to read the whole thing, and I have to decipher what it's saying because it's all crammed into one paragraph. And as much as this is very, very common, you're going to do a lot better off and get a lot more attention if you make your documents look like this. See, I have three different headings here. I have all employees being addressed. I have day shift employees being addressed. I have swing shift employees being addressed. And then I made a little quick bullet list. And so now all the information is spread out, and it's very visible for me to see. And for instance, I don't work on the swing shift, so I could care less what it says to the swing shift. I only work on the day shift, so I'm just going to read what it says to the day shift and all employees. And I see here under all employees, without even reading it, there's something going on May 12th and 13th at 11:30. I better find out what that is because I don't want to miss out on it, right? And so it draws my attention right to what's most important. And then if you notice in that same paragraph, it says, please have a white sticker visible to avoid being ticketed, all in all caps. Well, I thought all caps was all shouting. Yeah, probably when it comes to getting a ticket, you want everyone to make sure that they don't miss that, So it's standing out and it's getting their attention. So the whole point here is business writing isn't about this flowery looking paragraph. It's about making stuff stand out so that people's attention is drawn to it. And that's why you use headings and bullet lists and bold text and underline text, and as much as you want, as long as it doesn't become too busy, use as much as you want to get your message seen. And so I want to make sure that you utilize that, because some of you are doing really well in formatting your documents and you're doing really well in writing them, but you're still not using any design. You have short paragraphs, which is great, but there's no design. They're just short paragraphs. So I still have to read all of it in order to get the message. So in this case, I don't have to. I'm busy. I'm just going to look at my day shift and, okay, I can't park. I can park in A and B, but I can't use the curb parking, and I can loan mine to somebody else if I don't want to use it. Great. Now I'm done. I don't need to read the whole thing. So anyway, that's the point of it. Make it scannable and readable. So, all right. Any questions about any of that? You guys okay? Does that make you feel a little more confident?
Actually, I have a question.
Yes, Raylene.
If anyone else wanted to say anything, for the memo, the design elements, like with the little lines, like how it made it look a little like pretty and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I actually don't know how to do that. Like,
Like
yeah,
this line right here, or
or like
these
the
here.
one at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You have options. I mean, there's I can show you in Word how to do it, but if you there's different ways you can do it. You can use this feature, which is the box feature, and
Oh, okay.
it puts a line underneath the text, or you can also do it above the text. So there's your two lines.
Okay, I use Google Docs. That's right. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know if I can help you there. That's how you do it. And then you could, then also there is there's an insert tool for Word, and if you go down to shapes, you can actually select line, and then you can draw that wherever you want it.
Okay, thank you.
And
I
you
can
can,
also just search it up on Google. I was just
yeah,
thought
you
to
can make
ask
it
real
matter.
quick.
Yeah, no, that's right. No worries.
You.
Anybody else have a question, Rashana? Or Pay? Is it Rachana?
Yeah, it's Rashana.
Do you have a question?
No, I don't have any other questions.
Okay, sorry about that. Anybody else have a question or thought or concern? So as far as I'm going to go back one more time, and I'm going to go to our class in Canvas. So hopefully that works. And I'm just going to, because some of you tuned in and I stopped recording it. Oh, here we go. Naomi's just coming in. So anyway, to look again, to get to your group, just one more time for those of you who are not sure, is go ahead and go to our class in Canvas and go down to the module that we're in. And then that's going to bring you to our assignment right here, start final collaborative group writing project. And then when you select that, it's going to bring you into the assignment. And then over to the left is some different menu items. You're just going to select people. And when you select people, then it brings you into right here at the very top of the page. There's BCOT 247 final writing assignment. So if you select that, it's going to show you all of the groups. So here's all the groups. And so you can just click the arrow to find yourself. And once you find yourself, then if you go all the way to the right of that group, there's 3 little dots there. If you select that, you can go visit group homepage. Now, I don't know, there's got to be another way to find the group homepage. I don't know where it is, but that's the only way I know how to get there right now. If I find another way, or if any of you do, let me know and I'll let everybody else know. But in here, you have who's in your group. You have pages if you need to use that. You have discussions, which you can actually talk to each other by just posting in here, and then everybody can see your posts. So you would type in your answer and hit reply. Let me see if I go into student mode, what it looks like. I can hold on a second. Oops. Back up for a second. Oh, I got stuck in here again. And I don't know how to get out of here either. So what I'd say is you're gonna have to just go back to the home dashboard, go back into the group. I'm gonna try something different though. I'm gonna go to student view. So this is what you guys should be seeing. I'm now going on as a student. So select the final group, collaborative group assignment, and then select people. See, your list is a lot less than mine. And actually it says groups on yours, not the assignment. So click groups. And then there's the different groups. So, so you might not have been able to get to that page that I was able to get to. So how do you talk to each other? Locked. Does
I have
anybody
a
else?
comment.
Yeah.
So basically the way that I was able to access the group from the day that you made it is
Yeah.
on the Canvas app. The minute that you open the app, when you're looking at your courses, on the very bottom, there's like an easy button to push that shows you what group you're in on the app. So that's why it was really easy for me to navigate it.
All right. It's not on there though on the computer?
I was able to still access the group how you showed us on the computer, but I also just wanted to mention that it's a lot easier if you're using the app.
I got you. Okay. But it doesn't allow you here on this page, right?
Actually, I have when I log into Canvas on my computer, there's on the left-hand side, there's a thing that says groups, and I just press that, and then I would go into my group. I don't know if everyone has it on their Canvas though.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
I
I
also
access
have that
mine as
feature.
well.
So you guys see groups. So you guys see my screen right now, right? You guys all see my
Yeah,
screen right now? So you have a groups button in here?
yeah, like it's along that blue line.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'm going to go back into student mode. I'm going to see if it shows up. It doesn't show up for me because I'm not in a group, maybe. That's why. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let me try something. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to see if I can put me in a group. So hold on a second. Let me go back to people. Let me go back to groups here. See if I can add me. I'm not a student. I can't add me. Okay, never mind. Well, as long as you guys can see groups, then that's helpful. Thank you for that. And those of you who are watching on video, if you are watching this back, then what you're going to see then is if, is if you are on the Canvas page in your student view mode, which is student, you're going to see all of these plus a group button, correct? So you'd select that group button, that'll bring you into your group so you can communicate that way. So that's actually a more accurate way to do it than what I was just showing you, because it's hard for me because I'm in faculty mode and then I come, or administrator mode, and then I have to go into student mode, and it's not always the same. So I have to keep going back and checking. So great. So those of you who need to find your group, it should be right here to the left when you're on our Canvas homepage, or even when you select modules. So come down and then, and then back to the assignment itself. Your assignment is to pick two of these case scenarios, one for a letter, one for a memo. And you're going to write a letter and a memo together. Just remember, if it's a letter, it should be to an outside audience. If it's a memo, it's to an internal audience. So make sure that the two that you select, one for the memo, one for the letter, meets those two different audiences. You're welcome to pick any of these scenarios that you want to write about, but just make sure you avoid these four right here in the middle. So, and that's that. All right. Do I have any questions or any concerns about any of this stuff? Okay. You guys feel a little better?
Yeah. I did tell you last night, I think, about the group member that hasn't been responding to me.
Okay, good question. Yeah, so here's what I did. I sent in today's announcement. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I said if you don't hear from them by tomorrow night, to just go on without them, and they're not going to be in your group anymore. So they're going to be on their own to write the assignment themselves, do the assignment themselves. So, or at all. So, and typically students that do not respond, just to let you guys know, and you may want to ask me if your student's not responding, just because I know some of the students are still on the roster, but they've basically, and they didn't get dropped because they stopped doing work, like right around when we had to drop people. So they're still in the class, but they can't be dropped. So they're inactive. So, and because when I make the groups, it's all random. Some of those people were put into your group. So there's a really good chance that the person who's in your group that's not responding is not even really in the class any longer. So you don't have to feel too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. And I would just say, if you're reaching out to your group member, and you can let me know that they're not responding, and then I can tell you whether or not they're even participating in the class any longer. And then either way, after tomorrow night, if you don't hear back from everybody, let's just say it's just you and you're reaching out and nobody's getting back, then you can either contact me and I can put you in another group, or you can just do it on your own and not have a group to do it with. So it's your choice at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have just one other person that's responding to me, so I think we'll be doing it together.
Yeah, fine. It's good. I know it's a little more work in some ways, but it actually is really a positive experience. And most students hate the group assignments until they actually finish it, and then they're like, it was actually in most cases, it's a good experience. And the reason I have you guys do it, number one, is because it was already in the class built that way by Mahia. But also, and like I said earlier, she had you do like 5 writing assignments together. I'm only having you do 2. But also, business writing, collaborative writing is very, very popular. It's becoming more common. So you might actually be writing, a report with 4 other people in 4 different areas of the country, and you're doing it all virtually. And so it's really good experience for you to actually work at writing something together. So that's why I have you do it. All right. So that's pretty much it. For those of you who are watching on video, I apologize. I started recording halfway through, but I ended up backtracking and covering pretty much everything that we covered before. So hopefully, in fact, you got better information than the first part of this Zoom meeting, because we got corrected. That's why I said it was a discussion, because I wasn't 100% sure how you guys were accessing your group. But thank you guys for making that clear to me, and that helps. So, all right. Well, I'm done. So if you guys have no more questions, thanks for joining me today, and have a great semester. And by the way, if you ever need anything, if you guys need a reference for scholarship or reference for college you're going to go to, or job reference, don't hesitate to ask me. If you need any counsel or any advice, or spiritual advice, school advice, life advice, whatever, I'd be happy to talk to you. You guys all have my email and my phone number. So if you want to text me or whatever, here I always look at my student. There's a reason why you're in my class. I look at my students as, I know you now, you know me. So there's a little bit of a relationship, and I'm more than happy to help you succeed. I want to see you all do well in your future. And if I can participate in that and help in that in any way, I'm happy to do that. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Professor. Have a good one.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good one.
You guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.